Welcome back, Book Fiends, to Wicked Good Books, a channel dedicated to books and things book adjacent. My name is Nick, and I'm the host of tonight's D&D game. And so it begins. The first Wicked Good Books Patreon exclusive D&D 5e one-shot, based in Icewind Dale, Rime of the Frostmaiden. Can't wait. Oh, it has been a long time since I've seen a session 0. Let's do our first roll before we start the game. Oh, natural 20, for real? Yeet! Alright, so just checking in. This is going to be for the vlog for our first Wicked Good Books D&D game on the Patreon. This is our tier benefit of the patrons that can join and have a chance to play at one of our one-shots. This one is based off the Rime of the Frostmaiden module from D&D Wizards of the Coasts. So yeah, super excited for it. I just want to check in and say hi to you guys, and I'm probably going to check in a couple times throughout the game and make a little bit of footage like this for the vlog. I'm not sure how much of it I'll use, but I want to kind of give a sneak peek into what it's like to be in one of our games, and just to kind of show how much fun we're having. So yeah, make me history check. We are in a land of perpetual night, frost and snow-covered plains. Those familiar with the Legend of Driss books by R.A. Salvatore would know Icewind Dale very well. That's what this place is set into. The module itself has a really cool, like, haunted snowscape / John Carpenter's The Thing vibe, which is probably why I'm so drawn to it, because I do love horror sci-fi. But yeah, I'm really excited to see how I can bring those features into the game and surprise the players, so we'll see. Kind of why I wore the shirt today, so I can bring some spooky vibes into the game. But yeah, the party last time, they kind of all congregated to this moving caravan of curiosities, like almost like a zoo caravan of a menagerie of animals, and they took bread and warmed themselves by the fire there, and they learned that these guys were leaving because it seems like the towns of the 10 towns are having some sort of strange supernatural occurrence, and they just don't feel like they're making any money there, so they were fleeing. So as this wholesome group of people are leaving the city, our party is now entering it, so we'll see what happens next. I'm really excited to see how dark I can get this thing to go. We just wrapped on our first session 0 for the first official D&D 5e one-shot for Wicked Good Books Patreon. Had so much fun with everyone. It was so great to see everybody gathered together for the session 0. We're going to play 1 to 2 more games for this round of the lottery, and then we'll be doing a second voting tier coming up probably around the end of June. But yeah, had a ton of fun. It was so cool to see everyone bring their characters to the table and have them all kind of commingle and role play together. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this group survives the wild winter winds of around the Frostmaiden. Whew, that was wild. Okay, so that concludes the first half of the D&D 5e one-shot for Wicked Good Books presents the Dungeon Arcade. It's going to be kind of our name for the D&D games that we run on this channel. For the Patreon exclusive. We had a lot of fun tonight. It got a little grim and dark. There was one of the 3 options they could have picked. One was like a tavern, one was more like an exquisite estate, and the other one was kind of like out amongst like the more public park places they could have camped for the night because no one would have noticed. There were a couple other things too, but those are the 3 areas I thought they would kind of congregate to, depending on what they're feeling. Each of them providing their own semblance of rest and recuperating. However, there were like different scales of violence, and they definitely picked the most violent option. Not on purpose. They just picked the place that would have the potentially the most devastating horror aspect to it. This module, as I said before, is very inspired by The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, and so hopefully I'll find out tomorrow morning when I get texts and messages about people planning and stuff. But hopefully, I kind of paid homage and inspiration to that film that the book was clearly inspired by. But they had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. It was a little nerve wracking at first, but actually it ended up being a lot of fun. It ended up being really refreshing. And one great thing about playing with new players, not necessarily inexperienced or new to D&D players, but like a new group, that there's a sense of like energy and adventure and curiosity that sometimes older groups seem to lose over time. And I don't know, there's just something magical about it. I love D&D. I love this game. It's a perfect example of all the things that can go right and wrong about D&D. My rolls are pretty terrible as the monsters tonight, so I didn't do too well. But they had a lot of fun, and it kind of worked for the party, so I'm glad they had fun. Rule of cool, right?
Yeah. If you've made it this far in the video, firstly, thank you. Long story short, a lot of the footage that I had recorded for this vlog was kind of like from the hip as I was running the game, and the audio quality is just not up to par with my normal standard. I know it's a vlog, so it's supposed to be a little more lo-fi, but for me, I couldn't subjugate you guys to hearing some of the sloppy audio. It had a lot of artifacts and hissing and pops and just nothing that I would put together. So thank you for your patience with that. For the next game that I'm running, the vlog that I'll be doing for that game will be a little bit different. I have a whole different setup in mind, so we shouldn't have those same problems. But you live and you learn, right? It's a learning process, and I'm just happy that we got to play the game without a hitch. We played a session 0 and then 3 games that conclude the one-shot for the Rime of the Frostmaiden D&D 5e one-shot that I ran with my patrons. Come the second game, after the cosmic horror event in the tavern, they found themselves wandering out into the woods to find the source of this new cosmic threat, and found themselves falling down a hole in the middle of the woods in an icy cavern. And then came game 3, where the final game, they explored the cavern and found this ancient necropolis, or a bit of necromancy. It was basically like a crashed necropolis ship that was buried under the snow. And there were some Durgar dwarves working with a necromancer who was trying to erase the necropolis into the sky, which he succeeded in doing. However, our party managed to defeat him and the Durgar and crash this weird archaic flying saucer, essentially, just outside the city walls, and save the city from absolute obliteration under this cosmic threat. And it was a bit crazy. It was a lot of fun. It definitely had all the vibes that the module had. I found myself kind of taking different pieces of the module and different flavors and ideas and kind of putting them in a melting pot together, because a one-shot's a much shorter game. You obviously can't hit the entire module in that session. But for the 3 games that we had, they had a lot of fun, and I'm just really happy that we had no player deaths, no total player kills, no team TPKs, and they rolled pretty well, actually. I was rolling pretty good at one point, but they kind of knocked down the boss pretty quick. But they took some really great risks, and it ended up making just for a really fun, dark but funny night and fun gaming. And just one of my favorite parts about D&D is you never know what's going to happen for the most part. And they brought so much energy on my players to the game, and a lot of unexpected laughs and just really lucky rolls that changed the entire fate of their characters and of the story. And that's just one of a million reasons why I love D&D so much. You never know what's going to happen, and the rolls can determine how the story goes. So overall, I think it was a positive experience and a great first one-shot for my patrons, and I'm looking forward to our next game. We are going to do the next module, the Mythical Odyssey of Theros, which takes place in Theros, which is another Magic the Gathering D&D crossover. Both companies are owned by Wizards of the Coast, so it's really cool for a longtime fan of Magic and D&D to see these 2 IPs kind of finally crossing over, dipping into the well of each other's creative storytelling and these amazing worlds that they've created, and kind of fusing them together and seeing what comes out on the other end. And I think it's really cool, and the Theros module is sure to be a lot of fun. We already have rolled the lottery for it and picked all the patrons I'll be playing, and I'm pretty excited. Actually, I convinced my wife, not that it took much because she's a huge fan of D&D too, that's why we have the matching tattoos. She actually will be the special guest for this game, which should be a lot of fun. I have already seen her character, and she's really cool, and I'm really excited for the players to get to meet her. That one's going to be sometime November, and then towards the end of November, we'll be voting on the next setting, as well as bringing in newer patrons into the lottery system to be able to play D&D 5e with us here at the table at the Wicked Good Books Dungeon Arcade, as we're calling it. Now, if you'd like to know how you can get involved with this aspect of the Wicked Good Books community, I'll put a link down below to the Patreon. It is a tier benefit for Patreon, so you have to kind of read through and see. I believe the 3rd, 4th, and 5th tiers have access to it. But essentially, upon becoming a patron, your name gets entered into a lottery system, and we kind of cycle through who's played before as well. And you get a chance to have a seat at the table and roll some dice with us. And so far, it's worked out pretty good. I'm looking forward to our second game, and hopefully it's as successful and fun as the first one. It's been really great to see this concept come to life, and I'm very much looking forward to continuing this sort of tradition now with the patrons moving forward. So that's going to wrap up the vlog, guys. I have a better idea of how I'm going to do it in the second one shot that we do in terms of making this vlog a little more cohesive, but I didn't want to not throw together what I had for this one to kind of show you guys what we got up to and sort of speak to some of the fun things that happened along the way. I really wish that a lot of my screen recordings had audio so you could hear my players speaking in character and just getting up to no good and causing mischief and interacting with each other and with my NPCs. It was really, really cool, and so many of them, all of them really just brought a different flavor and a different perspective and personality to the group, which is kind of like intrinsic with D&D, but it doesn't always happen. Sometimes the chemistry is not there, and it was just a really good time. I loved every minute of it, and it just was a firm reminder of why I love Dungeons & Dragons so much, and I'm looking forward to rolling with more of you in the future. So we'll see you on the next one, and stay wicked.